beautiful souls, to day 18, still focusing on our third eye, Ajna chakra. So we're going to be doing some yin poses. So yin poses are designed to be held a little bit longer than normal to allow our body, I kind of see it as an invitation for our body to release. So we're going to start off with a very basic pose, child's pose. Now it's often just thought of as a rest pose, but it actually has a lot of benefits in and of itself. For a start, it gives our knees a great stretch. Now, if you have problems being on your knees or bending your knees, you can always roll up a towel or a blanket or pop a cushion behind your knees. You can also open the knees out a little bit wider. So it's about finding ways that make this pose accessible to you. The other thing is as well, is it's very nurturing, it's very soothing for our nervous system. So as we're in the pose, you're going to focus on your third eye point. So the space just slightly above between your eyebrows. Imagine like about a third of the way back. So imagine a point in the center of your brain. So you're going to try and turn your eye gaze up as if you're trying to look at that space in the center of your brain. So coming into your child's pose. So the forehead is on the floor. If it doesn't touch the floor, you can pop the head on a cushion or a block. But we just want the forehead in contact with something. So that if that means lifting the floor up to you using a cushion or a block, that is absolutely okay. You can have the arms out in front of you, or you can rest them down beside you. So you can open the knees out a little bit to make space for your chest. Just find a position that you can relax in and stay until I say otherwise. So once you're in your position, again, eye gaze turn in towards your third eye point. So you can feel your eye muscles working. Remember, this also activates your pineal gland. And if you wish, you're going to bring in an affirmation, which is, I embrace my inner wisdom. Or maybe you can say, I am ready to embrace my inner wisdom. So if up until now you've perhaps not trusted your guidance or your intuition, that affirmation may feel more authentic to you. I am ready to embrace my inner wisdom. Because with affirmations, they want to be what we want to be true, but it's no good saying something that your unconscious mind or your ego really doesn't believe in right now, because otherwise it will just call bullshit on you. So you can say, I am ready to embrace my inner wisdom. And notice how you feel. Notice sensations in your body as you say that. And as you say it, kind of emphasize different words each time. So like, I am ready to embrace my inner wisdom. I am ready to embrace my inner wisdom. I am ready to embrace my inner wisdom. So you say it over and over again, emphasizing different words each time. And just every time you breathe out, notice your body release and relax into the floor. So just imagine you're melting down into Mother Earth. And that's another reason this is such a powerful pose, because we're literally kind of yielding to the earth. It's very nurturing, it's very shielding. It's kind of reminiscent of when we were in the womb, feeling safe in the womb, which is why it's such a soothing, calming pose. So just observing, you may start to notice shapes or colours as you're looking towards your third eye point. But don't worry if nothing seems to happen, just simply observe. I am ready to embrace my inner wisdom. You might start to notice the breath gets a little bit deeper, and you'll notice also that some days you'll love being in a yin pose and you'll just be like, oh, amazing. And other days you'll feel fidgety and like want to get on and get moving. Just acknowledge everything that arises. That's another reason why it's really good to bring an affirmation in, because it's kind of like giving your mind something to think about. So there's less space for the sort of intrusive thoughts. And if your mind does wander off and you suddenly realize that you're thinking of something else, don't beat yourself up, just bring it back to, I am ready to embrace my inner wisdom. And just here for a couple more breaths. Relax your jaw, relax your ears, relax your toes. You relax your knuckles, the tips of your fingers, everything just melt down towards the floor. After your next exhale, slowly start to bring yourself back up to an upright position. We're going to bring ourselves into Anahatasana, also known as puppy dog pose. So you're going to come onto your hands and knees. You're going to lift your tailbone, so stick your bottom out. And imagine that you're just kind of like shifting the weight slightly back towards your heels. Then without moving your hips forward, you're just going to take a big step forward with your right hand. Have your hand about kind of the edge of the mat. Glue it to the floor and then sink your weight back into your heels. Stretch your left arm out, so again, your hands are about mat width apart. Keep lifting your tailbone and then start to allow your forehead to melt down to the floor. Now, if it doesn't quite touch the floor yet, you can either just relax your head and let it hang down, or if it's miles away and you don't think it's going to touch the floor, then you can use a block or a cushion. The important thing is to remember to keep your arms straight and to focus on your forehead and your chest melting to the floor. So just start with, it might feel quite stiff and tight. And this is where I often notice people collapse their arms. They kind of bend their elbows and kind of collapse down to the floor. So think of gluing your hands to the floor and just imagine that someone is just gently pulling back on your hips. As if someone's got their hands on your hip creases and they're just gently leaning back. Keep lifting through your tailbones if you're sticking the bottom out. So it's a very subtle back bend. Remember, back bends are about opening the front of the body. Again, just observing, eye gaze turned in and up towards your third eye point. And here you can bring in the affirmation, I am connected to all that is. I am connected to all that is. So the other aspect of the third eye is our ability to see everything around us as being interconnected. The trees, the houses, the birds, everything, and this universe, this planet rather, being part of the whole universe. You know, us as people being connected to every other sentient being as well. So it's the ability to see the connection, to see with, you know, more than our eyes. I am connected to all that is and all that ever will be. So feel your heart melt. Again, notice all and any sensations that arise as you're repeating that affirmation. Still with your eyes turned in and up towards your third eye. Make sure you're keeping your arms straight, so don't collapse your elbows to the floor. And so notice how after a few breaths, you might start to feel less tight. We struggle with back bends because they're counter to our normal daily movements. Imagine breathing up and down the length of the spine. So imagine the breath flowing up and down your spine. So as you breathe in, the spine lengthens, creating space between the vertebrae. As you breathe out, the whole body, gravity melts you down towards the floor, melts your heart towards the floor, your forehead towards the floor. I am connected to all that is. And you can always try taking your hands a little bit wider as well to see if that helps with any tension around your chest or shoulders. Relax your jaw. I am connected to all that is. After your next exhale, gently lift your head and start to walk your hands in nice and slowly. And for our last pose, we're going to come up against the wall. Now, I like to use a block or a cushion to rest my hips on. So you can do it with or without. How close or how far you are from the wall is totally up to you. So I'm going to sit my butt on the block, legs up the wall, Viparita Karani. And for this variation, I invite you to hold on to opposite elbows, or if you can't quite reach the elbows, then hold on to the arms and just allow the arms to rest towards the floor. Now, to begin with, they may be nowhere near the floor. Again, close your eyes. Once you're in position, close your eyes. Eye gaze turned in and up towards that third eye point. And just surrender. Surrender your body. Again, if the arms are nowhere near the floor, it doesn't matter. As long as you're not creating more tension. And with each out breath, letting yourself go. Then you can bring in the affirmation. It is safe for me to see the truth. It is safe for me to see the truth. Again, as you repeat it, emphasizing different words each time. And especially this last few years has been an immense time of people seeing beyond what is put in front of us or beyond what we're being told. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of us humans struggle, because we may be told one thing, but our body, which cannot lie, is knowing that it's not the truth or that it doesn't sit well with us. But we say, oh, how can I possibly know that? How can I possibly, and we want to trust people. We don't like to believe that we could be lied to. And so we kind of struggle to, sometimes when something appears one way and there's a part of us that's telling us it's another way. So it is safe for me to see the truth. Also bearing in mind that what is true for one person is not necessarily true for someone else, and that is okay. Another part of having a healthy, balanced third eye is knowing that we can live side by side and see the world differently, and neither of us is right or wrong. Neither one of us is right or wrong, and that is okay. So it's developing the ability to see clearly and to know what is true for you without falling out with people, without needing to prove that you're right or someone else is wrong, and also being able to create a reality that you desire. Now you can stay in this position for as long as you like. And your task today, should you choose to accept it, is to see everyone and everything as divine. To remember that we are all God-like, that we are all energy. Even if you don't believe or you don't like the term God, I sometimes use the term God, but I kind of use the term universe, universal life force, divine intelligence. It's all kind of like the same thing, but the easiest way to think of it is that we are all energy. We are all kind of like vibrating particles of energy. So I want you to try today, everyone you meet, especially if someone annoys you or, is rude to you or whatever, and this is where it becomes even more challenging, is to remember that we are all divine and that we are all really trying to do the best that we can. And it's so easy if someone is rude or whatever to take it personally, and we all do it, I've done it, we've all done it. When we start to remember that we are all divine, that we're all simply trying to do the best that we can, then it becomes easier to not take things personally. So you can just understand that someone may just be having a really bad day and it's nothing against you whatsoever. They're not being rude to you, they're just having a bad day. They have the same kind of struggles that you have. And also to see all the animals as divine, whether they're your pets or the birds outside. Even, I remember one day, recently I was reading a book and this tiny little flying insect landed on a page. Now at one time I'd have probably squashed it, or not given it much thought, not intentionally wanting to kill it, but just kind of I'll get off the page, But I just looked at it and I thought, you know what? You have as much right to be here on this planet as I do. I have no more right than you to be a temporary guest on this earth. And when you start thinking that way, even, you know, the plants, the trees and things around you, you just start to think of things in a different light and realize that we are all one. We are all energy in just different forms, and that we are just all trying to do the best that we can. And these things take practice, okay? It's not maybe something that you're going to get straight away. It's going to take practice. So just keep it in mind and remember that part of that practice is accepting that we are fallible, and that, you know, sometimes it takes a lot of time to undo a lot of our patterning and conditioning and habits and behavior. So don't beat yourself up, because you are divine, you are energy, and part of life is to learn, evolve, and grow. So when you're ready to come out of the pose, if you haven't already, you can just roll off to one side, roll off onto your right side, maybe make a little pillow with your hands, come out slowly and ease yourself up only when you feel ready. So always coming out mindfully, don't just rush. And this is an excellent pose you can do before bed or even in bed with your legs at the wall if you're struggling, or if you have restless legs or heavy legs, you know, and you spend a little time on your feet. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and I'm wishing you so much love. Namaste. Sorry, Miss Lupin. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry.